Good morning, Alan. Good morning,
Frank.
Ali.
Why have you got your Spurs bubble hat on and your Tottenham scarf ahead of the game?
I'm cheering them on tonight.
You can't cheer Spurs on, can you, Frank? Really?
No, not really. Well, listen. I hope they do the trick tonight.
And now on to the fight. Anthony ready to show everyone just how good he is. He's been close. Is this a big one?
Oh, it's massive. I mean, he's fighting a guy who's an outstanding amateur, and as a pro, he's had 18. He's a wrecking machine. He's had 18 pro fights, and he holds 3 belts, and he's knocked 18 opponents out. He stopped.
Wow.
So it's a tough fight for him, but he's up for it. He's a big puncher himself, so I think it'll be exciting while it lasts. I don't think it's going to go to the end of the fight, but I think he's got a really good chance. Home crowd, home advantage, and if anyone can do it, it'll be Anthony.
Frank, tell us a little bit about Beterbiev. I'll be honest with you, mate, I don't know an awful lot about him, and it's a fight I'm looking forward to. Both fighters have got a heck of a punch. I'm looking at Anthony's record, as you say, 25 fights, 23 wins, 22 by KO. It looks like something's got to give.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the styles will make it like that, but as I say, he stops all of these guys, and this is an important fight for for 3 belts. It's that's how much a dominant champion he is, and it will be tough. It will be tough for Anthony. There's no doubt about that. But I've got a feeling he can make it as tough as he wants to. He's really focused on this, and he does fancy himself. And where he's been an underdog in fights, he's normally come through. And I look back to that Kovalev fight when he went to Russia.
Uh-huh.
And, he should have won that, and he was very unlucky. He was 10 seconds away from becoming champion. Nearly knocked the guy over, but that would be great. That's great experience for him, and I think now with that experience he's got behind him, this is going to be his moment.
Now, Frank, ahead of that one or after that one, how is the big fella? How is the Gypsy King? We love him.
Yeah, we all do. He's good. He's in fine form. I see a video he put a message out a couple of days ago, and you look at him on that. He's really fit and well, and we're all working hard to make this fight happen. Really, what it's about now is determining where it takes place.
Are we talking about March, April, maybe?
No, I don't think it'd be March. I think it'd be early April. That's what it's looking like at the moment. There's been a not problems, because we all get on fairly well, between the two camps. It's just been a couple of other things which I don't want to go into, which are nothing to do with the boxers. So it's I think we will get there. This fight will happen.
Well, let's hear. Tyson's called him out yet again. Let's hear what the big fella had to say.
Tyson Fury here, WBC heavyweight #1. You're not world champion. Usyk, calling out Gypsy King, you pathetic little call-outs, Dosser. Rabbit, I'm coming for you, Rabbit. You're getting it, Rabbit. And I tell you what else, I'm going to bust you up real bad, you little middleweight. I'm just going to slap you into a big pile of tattoos, sucker. Come on!
Does Alexander, does he understand what Tyson's talking about, Frank?
Frank, I think he's a bit confident about this one. Yeah.
But that's what I was going to say to you, Frank. I mean, I could listen to the big fella all day. He's brilliant calling music, a middleweight. I'm coming for you, run, rabbit, run. Bring it on. But you'll know far better than me, Frank. The man is a very, very intelligent man, Tyson, and he will know. The one thing he won't do is underestimate Usyk, because Usyk, as we all know, is a very, very clever boxer.
He is. I mean, we see him in action against Anthony Joshua, and he's done the job twice on him.
Yeah.
He is a good fighter. There's no doubt about it. And he was probably one of the best cruiserweights of his generation. Well, I think he was the best of his generation, and he's moved up and he's repeating it as heavyweight. It is a good fight, or great fight. I think it's four belts are on the line, first time for a long time, many or decades, I should say. And I think we're going to see something special when they do get it on. But I'm a massive believer, as you know, in Tyson. I think he's the best heavyweight out there, and I think that I obviously fancy him to win the fight. But it's one we all want to see. And Tyson at the moment, I think, is just getting to his peak. If you look at his record, he's not been the busiest of heavyweights, various reasons, and obviously the COVID like a lot of fellas, and he only had 2 fights last year, and that's the reason we had to get that fight in at the end of the year after the AJ fight fell apart, to get him some ring rust out of his system.
Yeah.
So it's all set up now for this big fight, which I think will be, it's the biggest fight out there. There's no doubt about it.
Frank, just before we move on, the weekend, Eubank Jr, Smith, how do you see it? Is it one way? He says he's only got to be 50% to beat Smith. Reading about Smith today, saying that he sparred when he hurt him. He feels that the body shots are going to really hurt Eubank Jr.
I fancy Smith. Liam's I think he's a more seasoned fighter. And I just fancy him to do a job. I really do fancy him to win the fight. Chris Eubank Jr. He's been around a long time now, and people talk about him like he's a prospect. He's 33 years of age, and his father by then had retired, having had God knows how many world title fights. So, Liam, I think Liam's got the more experience, and I think a lot of people are making Eubank's favourite, but I think he'll beat him.
Frank, tell me, just before we get back to the big fella, he beats Usyk, right? Where does this leave him in the legacy of all-time greats? A lot of people say he's up there just now, but if he beats Usyk, where does it put him?
Well, he's certainly the best of his generation, and he beat the best fighter of his generation before in Klitschko, and went to Germany. I think he stands up there. He's certainly in the top 5 heavyweights of all time. I think he is, and it's very difficult because he's a big guy, 6'9". The weight of him. You could imagine him back in, say, maybe fighting an alley. Which could you imagine those press conferences? An alley would have been, you'd have paid to go to the press conferences. He would be there with them, and with Fraziers and that, and George Foreman, who is a big man, George Foreman.
Lewis,
he'd been Lewis. I know a lot of people say Lennox Lewis would have beaten him, but I fancy Tyson against Lewis. I look at he got beat by Ruckman, and Oliver McCall. Lennox would beat both of those fighters. And I know he beat him on the rematches, but he got beaten, so there was a chink in his armour, whereas Tyson is undefeated.
Nice one, Frank. We look forward to it. Thank you, Frank Warren, head of Queensberry Promotions there.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.